Today, we're diving into a really out there view of reality, one cooked up by a visionary physicist who is convinced that what we see, well, it's just the tip of the iceberg. He believed that underneath our everyday world of separate things, there's a much deeper, hidden reality connecting it all.
So let me ask you this. What if our entire universe is just a projection, a kind of giant flowing hologram? What if every star, every planet, every single thought you've ever had is just an image beamed from some deeper, unseen dimension? It's a wild thought, right? And it is the central mystery we are unpacking today.
And the person who dared to ask this question was the physicist David Bohm. Now, this guy was brilliant. He worked on the Manhattan Project, so he was no slouch. But he became really dissatisfied with the standard way of looking at quantum mechanics. He spent his whole life trying to come up with an alternative, something that would completely flip our understanding of the world on its head. So where did this radical idea of a holographic universe even come from? Well, you might be surprised to learn it didn't start by looking at stars through a telescope. Nope, it started by looking inward, at the human brain. Bohm teamed up with a neuroscientist named Carl Pribram, and together they cooked up this thing called the holonomic brain model. Okay, think about a hologram for a second. If you smash a holographic plate, each tiny little piece still contains the entire image, just fuzzier. They thought, what if the brain works like that? What if memories aren't stored in one specific spot, but are smeared across the entire brain, with each part holding a piece of the whole? This was a total game changer. But for Bohm, this idea of wholeness wasn't just a cool theory about the brain. No, for him, it was the answer to what he saw as the biggest, most dangerous problem with how we think: fragmentation. Bohm argued that we are trained from birth to see the world as a collection of separate little bits and pieces, atoms, people, countries, all bumping into each other like a giant cosmic machine. And as he says right here, this viewpoint has taken over everything. He thought this wasn't just wrong, it was the root cause of so much of our conflict and our problems. He even said this fragmentation is built right into the way we speak. Think about it. When we say, the scientist observes the particle, our own grammar chops reality into three separate things: the scientist, the act of observing, and the particle. But Bohm would ask, are they really separate? Or are they all just different aspects of one single unfolding process? Okay, so if our view of a fragmented world is just an illusion, then what's actually going on? This is where we get to Bohm's biggest, most mind-bending idea: the implicate order. Bohm said that reality basically has two levels. First, there's the explicate order. That's the world we see and touch, the world of separate things. It's reality unfolded. But underneath it all, there's the implicate order. This is a deeper, enfolded reality where everything, and I mean everything, is connected to everything else. Let's go back to that hologram analogy. In the implicate order, the whole universe is enfolded into every single point in space. The separate things we see in our world, what Bohm called the explicate order, they're just projections, sort of like images unfolding from this deeper interconnected source. So let's just lay it out side by side. The explicate order is what we see, the unfolded world that looks separate. The implicate order is the hidden reality, an enfolded, unbroken wholeness. Bohm had a cool name for this fundamental flowing energy, the holo movement. He saw it as the ground from which all of existence arises. Now, Bohm didn't stop with physics. He took these huge ideas about reality and applied them directly to human consciousness itself. He thought the same exact rules applied to our own minds. He urged us to think of thought as a system. What he meant was that your thoughts aren't just happening inside your own little head. No. He said we're all swimming in a giant, collective system of shared ideas, language, and assumptions that flows between us, constantly shaping how we see everything. And here's the kicker. Bohm said that this system of thought is what creates the problem in the first place. It's what chops the world up into little pieces. And the worst part? It then tricks us by presenting these pieces as if they're the absolute truth. His solution was something he called psychological proprioception. It's basically a fancy term for being deeply aware of your own thinking process as it's happening, so you can catch these illusions in the act. So when you tie it all together, his physics, his philosophy, his psychology, it all leads to one single, powerful vision. For Bohm, the biggest illusion of all was the split we make between our minds and the physical world. He believed they were never separate to begin with. As he put it so perfectly here, they're just different aspects of one single, unbroken movement.
So let's just throw out that old idea of the universe being made of tiny little building blocks. In Bohm's world, a particle isn't a thing at all. It's more like a ripple, a temporary pattern that forms on the surface of a vast cosmic ocean. It looks separate for a moment, but it's never truly disconnected from the whole sea.
And that really just leaves us with one final big question to chew on. If Bohm is right, if the feeling of separation between you, me, and the universe is just an illusion, if we are all just ripples on the same cosmic ocean, what changes? What changes about how you see the world and, more importantly, your place in it?